So if you just range it and let me know how far it is.
Okay, range to target is 50 yards exactly.
And you've got a shiny new FX Impact M3 22 FAC, I believe.
Yep.
Excellent. Well, it did a very nice tidy group at 25 yards. So now you've moved it out to 50 yards. And then you're going to do 75 and 100? Yep.
Yeah, probably 75 and maybe 100 with the slugs.
Okie dokie.
So the rifle as it is untuned. It's as it came from the factory. So shoot a group at 50 yards and then we can do some jiggery pokery with the power adjuster. Springs, yeah, the power adjusters.
Excellent. I shall
till get a usable velocity.
Excellent. Well, I shall step back out of your way and leave you to it. Hi everyone, Russ Douglas 222 here. I'm here with Davie in a private range in an old refrigerated unit with the end wall missing. We're just testing Davie's new FX Impact M3. What a beast! Davie's a real fettler when it comes to firearms and hand loads and wanting cloverleaf groups of 100 yards and beyond with his 6.5 Creedmoor, for example, and I've seen that myself. So I've just done some chrono testing for my Airgun World article, all 16 power levels using 16 grain FX Diablo pellets, and we're going to be doing some more testing shortly, and I'll see if I can take off the rubber eye cup and the end cap and record some downrange footage with the Pard 007. Great to get some range time in, some trigger time after all these lockdowns, and it's one beast of a rifle.
As is that.
So those shots are all through the same hole at 50 yards?
Well, they're not quite through the same hole, but each of them, it's a vertical string, but they're all touching.
We're on power level 7 with FX Diablo pellets, 16 grain. Power level 7's given us 921 feet per second, 30.1 foot-pounds. And the valve adjuster's on level 4. We haven't yet worked out what going up and down with that does, have we? We've not really sussed that yet.
Yeah, well, anti-clockwise takes the valve adjuster out, which increases velocity.
Right, okay.
If you turn it clockwise, it takes it in, and it reduces velocity.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So this is Davie getting his eye in. So we've got the FX Impact M3. It's got the FX moderator on over here, which is an empty tube, but apparently it does its stuff. It's a 580cc carbon fibre bottle. We've got a bipod here on the midships Picatinny rail underneath. He's got an Optizan EVX scope, 6-24 mag by 56 lens, and he's got a side wheel, as you can see. Davie's old school, so he marks his, dopes his turrets. He's just getting used to this beast. You're a happy chappy with this rifle, aren't you, Davie?
I am indeed. It's proven to be very accurate. As I say, factory settings, I only had to adjust this one by 1. I took it, it was factory set at 8, I've taken it down to 7, so the groups tighten up slightly. Other than that, it's perfect.
So factory setting 7 on the macro adjuster wheel is 921 feet per second, which is 30.1 foot-pounds. I'll just show you that without interrupting Davie. You can see that. So while he's shooting, we've got the valve adjuster, the micro adjuster wheel, the macro adjuster, and 72cc power plenum 720 here. And the Impact M3 has got 20 MOA built into the Picatinny razor rail. Davie's kindly about to video for me. It's great having a glamorous assistant. So after all our chrono checks, and I've measured the trigger pull of the Impact M3 and I've also measured the cocking effort at minimum power and maximum power, and there's a couple of pounds of difference though, which you'd expect, but there's no difference in the trigger pull. The trigger pull is very crisp. So I'm just about to have a wee blast at some paper targets at 50 metres. Davie's kindly going to film for me. So I've got a Caldwell rear bag here, just holding the heel temporarily. We've got a full mag of 28 FX Diablo pellets, 16 grain, and the Optizan EVX scope we've already described, and the reg pressures and settings we've already described. It's a lovely afternoon. There's a slight wind gusting right to left by about half an inch at 50 yards, Davie reports. So the reach for me is it's actually about 2 or 3 inches short for me ideally, but I have got big gangly arms. And I also just want to point out the power plenum has got a sort of chamfered shape at the front and aft, but for me with my big hands, the back of my base of my thumb here is pressed into the power plenum, and I have noticed as well that on the right hand side there's a slight sharp corner just here, which is the metalwork where it comes down to meet the grip, and I have noticed that the base of my trigger finger here digs in very slightly to that sharp edge. So just observations from using this rather lovely Impact M3.
Those of us who with normal hands won't feel it at all.
No, I mean my palm is 4 inches across, and my reach thumb to tip of my pinky is about 10 inches I think. But I definitely feel like I'm hunching here, hunching forward to get my eye behind the scope, but then that's because of the position Davie's got the scope in, because he's not got gorilla arms like me. It'd help if I close the action. Safety's off, it's horizontal. Oh, that's 2 inches left. Same halt.
Yeah, the wind is getting up a wee bit, that's why you're getting a wee bit of lateral shift.
That's 1.5 inches left. Yeah, that's only 1 inch. Yeah, so a bit of right to left shift. Controls wise, we have the macro power wheel for large adjustments. We've got the micro power roller, if you like. It's a wheel, but it's basically a roller, which it's not a vernier scale, but which you can very precisely adjust fine-tune the settings on here. I understand from watching other videos that via the valve settings, the front reg setting and the rear reg setting, which is accessed through the trigger guard, and the macro wheel and the micro wheel, you can basically set up your FX Impact M3 to match the settings of any other M3 user around the world to use with pellets or with slugs to sort of reproduce whatever settings they find work for them. The magic of the power plenum, and this is the 72cc power plenum, which is the second largest in the FX range, means we've got a reg pressure of 65 bar, and we can shoot the main reservoir right down to that reg pressure of 65 bar before the bottle needs a fill. And this is the large 580cc bottle. Very nice indeed. Also, you can see here the 2 attachment points where the cocking lever can be moved from right to left just by drifting out the pins, and there are various videos online for that as well. I also like the accessory rails because, as you know, I like to use day and night scopes, like for example the PARD 88 LRF. With the M3 or some of the earlier Impacts or the Maverick, I could attach a LED IR lamp or a VCSEL IR lamp left or right on this forward accessory rail, which would make the PARD battery last all night basically. Great deal. This, for me, I have commented in the past that the FX Impact is a bit on the heavy side. That's for me. I'm disabled. I'm on the crutches for life, and every pound is a prisoner. So this is not my rifle, this is Davie's that he's kindly letting me review. And yeah, I think we weighed it earlier on. With moderator, with the scope, the tier 1 mounts, the focus wheel, magazine, it weighs 10 pounds, which is not that bad, but it's a long rifle. I wear my rifle hanging around my neck when I'm out doing pest control, which is why I wouldn't have gone for this rifle. I'd go for a 500mm barrel with a moderator, or even a compact with a moderator that I could hang around my neck. But this is an awesome machine, and it's a fettler's dream with the macro, micro, and the valve adjustment, and the reg adjustment in here. You're not likely to need to adjust reg 1, but if you ever do, you have to take the bottle off to do it, because regulator 1 is within the neck of the carbon fibre bottle. The sky's the limit as to what you can adjust on this. And Davie and I will in due course be doing some testing with slugs. He's very keen to do that, and to see what kind of ranges, because obviously, as you know, Davie's such a wealth of information, a bit like Bruce is in the night vision world, and Davie was explaining to me about ballistic coefficients. The higher the coefficient, the higher the BC, the better. Now, slugs have got a much better BC than wasted pellets, but they're still not as good as the supersonic rifle bullets that Davie uses with his centerfire rifles. But for us air gunners, slugs are as good as we're going to get regarding a high ballistic coefficient, which is going to fight the wind downrange, be less susceptible to wind drift, basically. That first few shots I fired just then have drifted 2 inches left at 50 yards. If I was firing slugs, it would probably be less than an inch of wind drift at the same range. So we're both looking forward to experimenting with slugs. But I've got to see if I can tune my FX bottle pop to go up to that sort of power levels, because I haven't been able to get it above 32, 33 foot-pounds maximum. So I've been in touch with Sportsman Gun Centre. They've been very helpful, and I'm now going to be in touch with FX as well. So I'll get that. I'll feed back what I find out to adjustment-wise on the bottle pop to yourselves via the magazine, and of course via YouTube. So thanks for watching. Davie's kindly recorded me for a few seconds. I brought my PARD 007 along, and this has got the Eagle Vision Cam multi-scope adapter. So it's got the sort of collet at the front that will adjust it down to any scope. Now the eye belt of Davie's Optizan 6-24 by 56 scope, it's got a little bit of black tape on here. I know this EVC adapter takes a fair range of scope eye bells, but this one is obviously a big fella.
It's a man-sized scope.
A man-sized scope, is it? But I don't think this EVC adapter is going to go on it. It's the first scope I've ever found that wouldn't fit the EVC adapter. So I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to bring you any through scope footage, not today. So I'll do that with some footage on my rimfires next time we're out here. We've just come down range to check out the target. There's our shooting point over my left shoulder, and there's a fair breeze on and off coming across the fields. So I'll just show you these groups. That was my first group, so you can see the wind is blowing right to left, but that far left cluster, there are 2 pellets in the same hole, in the keyhole, and an hour or 2 later my last group was here, and the vertical separation, it's basically about 5 pellets in a slot. Again, the wind was pretty consistent then, and it would have been a nice tidy group apart from the vertical separation.